We're going to go through the game. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. Any current runners, such as Skunky, Crit, Rocket Runner, or Windcask, feel free to chime in. Or Tassers. Nine Spaces has been working on tassing on this, which is pretty cool. I am going to be working with the English fan translation today, so I will post, once I get this all uploaded on YouTube, I'm going to post all the links again, but there is the patch, and this is the utility you need to patch it. Hey, Turk Razor. I did not. Now, this was a Famicom Japanese release only, so I just recently discovered it thanks to Crit Rocket Runner. But I'm a big fan of the movie, the game. It's just great music, really fun. Anyway, so this Lunar IPS is what you use to patch the J-ROM. So before we go into the game itself, you can look us up on speedrun.com. There's a Labyrinth page, and you can click on the Discord link on the side. And we do have a Discord where we have guides posted. We're going through new strategies because the time's been brought down almost 10 minutes in like the last 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you, Skunky. But yeah, it's definitely somewhere you'll want to join if you are planning on running this game. So we do not allow the English fan translation for official speedruns. Having said that, I think it's probably best to start off on that while learning, and then you can switch over to the J version. The only thing that you need to know after you kind of know what all's going on with the menuing and stuff after learning it on English for the Japanese version is the wise man will tell you what at a randomly determined cardinal direction which way to go. So he'll say like level 2 to the north, level 3 to the west, level 4 to the south, and so you have to be able to read which one is north, south, east, west. So in the guide, which you can find on the Discord, we do have a little image showing the Japanese translation for north, south, east, west. So it takes 2 minutes to memorize that. You're good to go. What's up, Crit? Yeah, there's time differences. So most of the time, the fan translations are not allowed for speed running. So obviously you can still run it. I guess we could potentially even make a separate category for it, maybe, but the bottom line is you can learn on Japanese and then switch over, or learn on English and then switch to Japanese very easily. So anyways, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into this. Like I said, I am going to run on the English translation today. Thank you, Skunky. You rock. So, first things first, timing starts as soon as you hit start here. So, hit start, you're going to hold down A and B. Make sure yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. As you see him saying, you have 13 hours, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I need to explain this first section, too. So, holding down A and B, at least in the beginning, speeds through that. As far as I know, the rest of the game, you just need to hold down A, but I hold down A and B, too. Hey, Air Angel, what's up? Yeah, you come to learn. Welcome. Yeah, and then Skunky just posted the guide there. No, it's the time in the top right corner is basically your health. So it ticks down at about a second. It's more than a second, but it's really a minute on that clock. Yeah, 1 minute, 1 second. So, and we'll go through more about that. There are ways that you can refill your time, yada yada. Um, but the general concept is you need to find the 12 keys to build the key to get into the Goblin City, and then Jareth's gem. Jareth is the villain, the Goblin King, which, if you've seen the movie, makes sense. This game actually follows the movie pretty closely, too. Yeah, so, and this is another hard part to explain, so I kind of have to explain it as I go. Coffee, I hear you. I'm drinking my coffee. So each level has 1 key and 1 coin. In order to completely get through the level to where it won't show up on the menu that the wise man shows you, you do have to get the coin and the key. However, we skip I think 3 coins in our current routing, which we believe is the best way to route it right now. Basically, you have to get a certain number of coins so that you always have at least one option, one new level showing when the wise man shows you things. So I'll be able to explain that further once we get to that point. It makes a lot more sense seeing it. I know it took me forever. Crit was trying to explain this to me, and it took me forever. So anyway, so I'm just going to kind of jump right in now. Hit start, hold down A and B to speed through this. Now that we have a quick setup to get this worm fast that I came up with, so we're just going to barely jog to the right. Go up, turn right before that bush, and then we're going to go up in between these 2 logs here. Like clockwork, you should get the worm spawning right next to the door. If you don't do it this way, it can take a real long time to spawn him. Just like in the movie, she runs for a while until she runs into the worm. So that's that. You cannot get hit by any fairies, or otherwise it takes longer to get into the door. You have to hit B 8 times. So basically this is exactly how you're going to do it if you're speedrunning this game. So the current strat too, we kill 10 enemies in the first level is kind of the go-to beginning strat. So we want to kill as many as we can as we're getting this set up. So 2, and I usually kill 1 more here. Oops, I messed it up. You can go back and shoot, so you can shoot at diagonals. 3, so really you could have up to 4 by that point. So it gives us 50 gold. And these guys are randomly going to be generated. 5. Certain enemies take 1 hit, some take 2, some take more. So you want to get the 1-hit kills. 6. Grab the coin. Once again, you can find all these paths on the 7 on the guide. 8. Those guys take 2 shots, so do them. 9. So just need 1 more. This is pretty bad, but I just want to kind of show you what we're trying to do here, and then that's terrible. 10. Alright. And the reason we are killing 10 enemies, and I'll go through some other options of doing this too, is, well, I'll explain that as well. So now we want to tank our time down to 9xx. Ideally, we want to find these knights to do that. Those guys. So you want to run into one of them because they do a ton of damage when you walk into them. So the quickest way to tank is to run into them. So I'm below 9. But once again, I'm just kind of showing the general concept right now. You can watch a PB if you want to see better gameplay. Music's great. Alright, so I am at 9 or below. So that's the first level. You go up and talk to the wise man. So the reason we did that is with your money, it's $20 per hour he'll offer to let you buy more time and or health. Stun lock cancel mechanic. Yeah, we can talk about that. Let me go through this real quick. So yeah, so similarly holding down A and B. So if we get to 9xx, we're all the way at 13. If you say now, see now he says 2 to the west. So now we have no more money, so if we end a level below 13 hours moving forward, unless we have 20 or more health, or gold, which over the course of the game you may run into, you won't have to waste any more time buying, because that's a at least a 5-second time loss. Going through all that. So, okay, so stun lock cancel mechanic. So how's that work again? It's is it actually start? I haven't messed with it at all. I believe it is, yeah. So what do you just mean about like going through people? Gotcha, okay. Yeah, so good point, Skunky. So when you're running into things, you can't just keep holding down right. So for instance there, that's me holding down right. So when the guys are blocked, sometimes you're just going to have to take damage. Like those guys only take 2, but like if you're coming into a knight, they take like 8 hits or something. So you're going to get hit, and then you're going to push right again. Technically the best way to do those would also be to stun them, so, and that way they're less likely to come following you, less likely to shoot you, etc. So for this situation though, I'd probably just kill this guy. Here we want to get on the... Damn it, we don't want to grab that. So you don't want to grab any more of the gold. Really, books and keys and coins are the only thing you're grabbing. On this level, you're trying not to kill a ton of enemies. But sometimes, like this level is notorious for just sending the one-shot kill guys right in front of your face. So there's not a lot you can do. I'm going to set a save state here. So, fairies, one thing I've noticed with them is if you wiggle around and kind of do stuff like that, a lot of the time you can get them off your tail. Enemies respond to your movement quite a bit, so it does take time to kind of get the hang of how they react. But the more you play it, the more you tinker around with it, you can kind of, to an extent, control enemy movement. These things here actually warp you to a different section, and you can't really tell. If you are hit and you're in your iframes, it will not warp you, so you have to make sure you're completely out of iframes before you touch that little grid at the bottom. Once again, you can find all this stuff as far as the actual route on the guide, so I'm not going to go through where I'm going. Only strategy and explanation. And once again, yeah, if anybody has questions, other runners, Skunky, Crit, Windcast, please let me know if you have suggestions as well. That was to the south, right? Okay, so similarly here, there's quite a few one-hit kills, so... Lipstick is another item we grab. Yeah, almost got away. So this gives you 1 hour of time. So depending on how you are on health, you can go for that. Don't kill yourself over it though. Similarly, if you're in iframes, you cannot grab an item. So whether that's lipstick, a key, a coin, whatever. And that can be absolutely brutal. So in these dungeons, what I try and do to kind of control the spawning, you want to open up as much area in areas you're not going to be in, if that makes sense. Just to try and get enemies to spawn outside of your route. So if you notice, I kind of try and stay on the bottom. You can also despawn enemies a lot of the time too if they just barely get off camera. Like I just despawned that knight a moment ago. Oops. Kind of get into these walls too. Like there, I go to the bottom, even though that's technically not the fastest way. Going all the way to the bottom gives me a better chance of having enemies spawn in a different area. So, Shardcore, what's up? Thanks for the host. How you doing? And also, that's awesome to hear, Air Angel. October, nice. 4 to the south. So south is the fastest direction. So there's a lot of RNG in this game. I believe west is the second fastest and east is third, and then north is slow as heck. Correct me if I'm wrong. Crit just timed that out recently. Woo. Another thing about stun locking, if you're next to a wall and you get hit, you can actually kind of get stuck on the wall. So you want to try your best, if you know enemies are going to be around you, to not be hugging the wall. It can be a big time loss. Spoopy Poop River. Aww. Yeah, I kind of feel like crap, but I've committed to doing this. Right, on this level we do have a couple of our first clock appearance. So clocks give you 5 hours, I believe. See, now this is what I'm talking about. You can't get that clock with these guys here. So what I should have done is just skip the clock, which a lot of the time I do anyways. It's technically a time loss going for it, but 3 hours, sorry. Books give you 5 hours. Books you can use from your menu. Clocks you just grab. And typically you're going to use at least one book at the end of the game. Because when you get into Jareth's castle, it is quite brutal. For this section, I've noticed that I get a better spawns on these enemies if I don't cut all the way to the left and then go up, so I kind of go up as soon as possible. Of course now, yeah, so you don't want that to happen. Grabbing that clock. You were not trying to go down there, so... So normally, I get better results. So you want to go over here. Similarly, as I was talking about earlier, with like the fairies, a lot of these enemies will kind of track you down, and it's surprising how well they can shoot you. So it's best to kind of keep your movements a little unpredictable. Wow, so I just that's a classic gangbang right there. Got stuck to the wall. So unfortunately, things like that, there's not really a lot you can do. Here, you just hope the enemies spawn above you, because otherwise they're going to spawn in front of you. If they're little guys, you can just kill them. But if it's like a knight or something, you're going to have to damage boost. And I'm losing a lot of time. Another clock down here, which we desperately need. Oops. New wave gangbang. What's up, Cole? Music boxes and hearts we skipped. Those are for her companions, which are from the movie. Hoggle, Bluto, and Sir Didymus. So we call Epididymus. They're just super slow and useless, so... What do you know, I'm already at 20, so I'm having to buy extra time. So I said in preferred speedrun, you're not buying time at all except for the beginning of the game. I should mention too, there are other strats that are potentially faster other than taking the tanking on the first level and doing the 10 kills to get to 60. You could basically try and end each level at 12x, so you aren't triggered for time until level 3 or 4 preferably. It is very hard to do that, so you're going to be resetting a lot. So it's not recommended starting like that. I think down the road we may have to do that depending on how far we grind this for record, but anyways. So once you have 3 coins, you have to buy either a ring or a staff. The ring gives you more attack power, the staff makes you take less damage. Since we're doing a lot of, we want to kill less, and we're typically damage boosting through things, we take the staff the first 2 times, and then the ring. Country Gospel Gangbang. Alright, go ahead and buy this hour. So this would be an absolutely terrible run. 5 to the north. And if you notice, 3 is still on there because we never got the coin for 3. Twitch mobile, isn't it the worst? Welcome back, Air Angel. So yeah, so this is Jareth, the Goblin King. He randomly just decides to appear. When he's on screen, your time goes down much faster. It takes forever to kill, so... Oh, I am so sorry, Shar. Bless you, my child. So it's not worth trying to kill him. Basically, you just want to get him off screen. Eventually, he'll stop respawning. Alright, where am I at here? So 5. Okay, already got the staff. This level, you're definitely going to be doing some damage boosting. Thanks for the host, Air Angel. So yeah, this is pretty bad luck here. Wow. Sometimes you can get through that clean. But RNG is definitely a thing, so just be ready to repress that direction and go. So like I said before, it's best to stay off the wall most of the time. However, on this level, I tend to stay closer to the wall because it's such a tight opening. Damn it. Ugh. A lot of the time you can just skate right past these enemies, so... Plus, being on this far left wall, it opens up... Oops. Enemies can spawn on both the left and right side of me, which I like. Once again, we want to limit the amount of enemies spawning in front of us. God, I'm doing terrible. Ugh. That's a little miniature wannabe gangbang right there. They don't quite have the numbers to be an actual gang yet, but they're trying. So yeah, this level's not too rough, but sometimes you can get trolled pretty hard. Once again, the more you play it, the better you're going to be with movement. So there's our first book, I believe. Once again, we can go into our menu at any time and hit A to use the book and give ourselves 5 hours, which we save for the end of the game. Hit B to get out of the menu. If you got fairies behind you, nothing else will spawn if you have 3 or more fairies, so it's honestly a really good thing. Not explaining the gimmick. Yeah, that sounds fun. Alright, well, it's Skunky's recommendation. I'm not going to explain this terrible thing. 6 to the east. Alright, so... Level 6. Let's actually set a save state. So, when you go in here, your controls are going to be all crazy. And it's randomly generated. So, right now, right goes down, left, or down goes right, left goes up, and up goes left. So that is not preferred. So we want to grab the coin and then go into the mouth of this top right one. Oops, see. If you do that, the run is ripped. See if we get different results. That's why I set the save state. Okay, I think we did. You have to be careful too about wow, up and down. Not getting too close to the mouths because you can get damage boosted in by getting hit by an enemy. So it's a pretty trolly section. You're just gonna have to kind of adapt, try and figure out, you know, which directions you need to get there. Boom. And then it happens again after this dungeon section too. Got another clock up here. I believe it's faster going that way. I usually end up going to the right though. For some reason that left corridor tends to be more crowded usually. That's true too, Char. Alright, so right and down. I skipped that book just because you can end up screwing yourself over. I should have skipped that too. If there are guys around, don't waste your time. The reason I skipped the book is it's just one more thing I can mess up, and you typically don't need it. Find out what direction goes right and down, and you're good. I think you can still have like 3 or 4 books by the end of the game without grabbing that one. Alright, what do we got up next? The Easy Garden. So yeah, this level's really easy. 7 to the north. Let's go. So this level... Oops. I thought those only took 2. They used to take 2. Stop trolling me. Basically, just try not to get hit. You do have to go past this and then up here, because this little quadrant here, if you go into that first section, it actually teleports you to a different section of the level. So some things we do don't look like they make sense, but there's a reason. Like in the castle, there's certain stairs that don't work, things like that. It's like, oh, you could go way faster if you just went in those stairs. Nope. Crying hard and baby could cry. What could I do? My baby love had gone. Alright, next section is the ballroom. I still use my guide for this section just because I don't want to mess it up. 8 to the east. Yeah. Well, yeah, I remember the first time I got in there, I was like, why isn't Crit just going in these stairs? What a dummy. JK. So yeah, so there's certain this is all in the guide, but you're gonna, and I just have this written down in my own guide. Hey comrade, what's going on, man? Welcome. And I just have like lower right, up, middle, lower left, top, coin, left. A lot of these things you can simplify after getting started, after you kind of run it for a little bit. So you don't need to look at the full map. A lot of things you don't need to look at all after you run it a few times. But I still like to have my guide up for a couple things. Eventually I want to completely convert off of it, but yeah, well, I'm just doing a tutorial right now, so I'm going to do some runs after this, I think. Anyway, so left, bottom right. up. Another thing that Skunky discovered too is when you go in these, next one's middle, so you can buffer the direction, but like if you were holding up when you went into the previous one, you can't hold up going into the next one or you'll just stand there, similar to how you have to press up again when you get damaged. So if you're careful, you can kind of get around that. So I think I was holding up on the last one, so I could just hold left and then go up for this middle one. Lower left, so I'll hold left and then down. Top, hold down up. Coins to the right. Forget Mr. Bowie. Already holding left, so I couldn't buffer that one. Back to the right, and then key is up and to the right. It's the hot new speed game, comrade. I don't know about that, but it's really fun. Trying to encourage more people to run it, so. Alright, so next level is the cleaners or the crushers. 9 to the east. And this is the English patched version. So Skunky came up with some pretty good strats for this, so I'm just going to go over that as best as I can. If done right, you can actually despawn them. So the downside of getting 9 to the east or whatever is that similarly as before, I can't hold down right, I can't buffer it, so I forgot. Oh snap! Najee Barbles! Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for the resub, buddy. 7-month streak, 8 months total. What's up, dog? Let's try this again. Alright, so you're going to go to right immediately. See, this is the... man. Usually, I just hold down right and I get there no problem. So let's experiment with this. If I'm holding down right, I don't get ran into like this. Huh. So let's try again. I don't think this is pure RNG. If I go all the way to the right, it seems to want to spawn. Let's see if I just go to the middle. Yeah, if I go to the, okay. So if this happens to you, and you can't buffer the right direction, it looks like it's best to just go kind of in the middle. If you touch that wall, it looks like he's going to spawn sooner, which is not good. I try and go immediately. I believe Skunky waits for the first one to pass. So I guess technically you could do something like, okay, or just go up there and it despawns. Anyways, play around with that. The first one's not the hardest part. But normally I just go straight to the right. Once again, if you can't buffer it, apparently it doesn't work as well. I'm going to grab this book, wait for that to go. Hug the wall. Hey IRG, what's up? Some bonds? Stocks and bonds. Is that because of my Dow? I don't know if that's the same Dow. What's up, dude? So here you want to walk down and hug the left side of this wall. And let's just see if I can pull it off first. And then hug the top of this. And sometimes you'll be able to despawn that guy so you don't have to take that damage boost. I'll try this a handful more times just to see if I can get it. But you have to take 1 damage boost, it's not the end of the world. Although these crushers do 3 hours of damage, so 1 you can usually handle, 2 is going to be pretty rough. Get the NASDAQ version on. Yeah, I think this is has something to do with I don't know what the hell this is. It's vintage. I got it at Goodwill and I fell in love with it. I wear it all the time now. All right, let's see if I can get a clean thing here. Ah, I don't like it. try. Damn it, I did it again. Holding down right. Ooh, got the despawn, at least one of them. If you do get that despawn, you need to be ready to shoot, like I just did there too. If you're not ready, you won't get him, and you'll get hit. But yeah, so that's what you're looking for. Gonna shoot. Wow, I didn't even have to wait for him. See if I can get this again. Damn it, I was just a little off. I think a lot of it is just being... Yeah. Yeah, anyway, so that's the best way you can do it, is to get that despawn and then shoot him like that. See if I can get it one more time. Boom. So that is how you ideally do this level. Yeah, it's rare that you're going to get that in a run. Yeah, I think I need to spend some more time with this too. Because not losing 3 hours there could make or break, or could be the difference between you having to use one extra book and the castle, and I mean, that's got to be at least a 3 or 4 second time loss. Hitless. Alright, and then here comes the trolliest ass level in the game. The fucking bush ass bushes. Alright, got 3 coins again, so we're going to upgrade the staff. 10 to the east. So before I even go in here, first let's set up a save state. So basically, you're going to have different paths blocked off by these bushes, but if you scroll them off the screen, it opens up certain trees. So the idea is, hopefully you just have lots of openings which can randomly happen. But if not, then, and this is something kind of Skunky came up with, you basically, there are 2 rows of trees, so you want to find 2 openings in the row closest to you, and then just scroll off the trees behind it, and then you have a higher chance of finding an opening in one of those 2 slots. So I'll put that into practice here. Also, there are a shitload of enemies, but this split will determine your run to a large degree. So there we only got... Whoa! Okay, so that's another thing. I don't know if you just noticed me go down there. Sometimes you can glitch into walls. You can do weird things. It just happened right there. We don't know always why it's happening. 9 Spaces did just find out how to do it in TAS, which does not seem to be RTA viable. I tried it for like 15 minutes last night. Put all my effort into it. I know Skunky was messing with it too. But it looks like there are other ways it can happen. Just be aware if things are happening and you're not actually controlling it. That's what's going on. Nice, IRG. Do it. Anyways, so back to this. So there, we got an opening after we re-scrolled. Here, I might just try and get the one above us to open, since I've got 2. Oh man, I blew that. Oops. So you notice there I actually had an opening. I fucked it up, so you gotta be careful. Alright, there's our coin. I like to kind of check the entire perimeter of this. Usually you can get an opening just like that on the other side instead of scrolling off the section that's closest to you. Got another opening here. I will say there's some lipstick back here to the right too if you really need it. But I wouldn't go for it unless you come up from that section. Yeah, this song is awesome. I'm just sad the chorus isn't in here. The chorus is what's so great about the song. Wild Gang. Okay, so that would have actually been an okay push section. Alright, stage 11, Junk City. This level's pretty straightforward too. So, usually it's pretty easy, sometimes you just get gangbanged like crazy, so save state here. We do get to grab one extra book here as well. Over here. Once you get hit, you want to move immediately. The easiest way is actually to go to a completely different direction. Like if you're walking right, do up or down if possible, and you can typically get out of it a little bit quicker. Man, my health is low. He's gonna be using some books. Alright, so final level here is getting to the castle, so you're in Goblin City just like the movie. We're also gonna grab our final key and coin. To the east. And I'll actually just have this level called Don't Get Hit in my splits. Because usually you really want to try and conserve your health here. Those pink guys are, they deal 1 hour of damage, whether they hit you with their bullet or if they hit you with their body. So you want to avoid getting hit by them at all costs, even if you're wasting, you know, real time by doing it. Those little goblin guys are pretty annoying. Their movements are pretty unpredictable, so typically it's best just to kill them if they're in your way. I'm not demonstrating that very well right now. So another thing too, you gotta be careful because you can get stuck on the wall, but I typically like to hang out like down here, so that way enemies are preferably spawning on the other side of the wall as well, where they can't get to me. Now here's our last book. Typically you're not going to go for that if you're on a really good pace. I mean, it's up to you, obviously. But I usually end the run with books left over. I don't think there's been much research into the companions other than they waste a bunch of time. I mean, you never know, there could be exploits or something, but I doubt it. Maybe. We could always do a taboo run. Just for funsies. Alright, 13 to the south. I'm going to go ahead and just use a book now, because we're obviously going to have to use one. A, B. So it is recommended that you memorize the castles. You can get away with using the guide on a lot of stuff while you're getting started, but once you really want to put up a decent time, it is too much shit going on to try and avoid enemies in the castle and try and look at this insane map, because you're just going into all these wormholes. So, I mean, it took me like an hour of practice, maybe less, to have both sections of the castle memorized. It's not too bad. So yeah. So here we go. The name of the game here is going to be avoiding what we call pinkies, these little pink dudes that are riding these monsters. They move very fast, they deal a ton of damage. Yeah. And you can, the best thing to do, I mean, you'll get a feel for kind of how their movement works, how far they can go. But if you know they're going to come at you and hit you, best thing you can do is just damage boost through them and stun them so they don't come chasing after. And sometimes you actually need to do a turnaround and stun them again if they're on your tail, which I may have to do here. Let's see. Nope. Should be able to see it here momentarily. Sometimes they just clip through the wall too, so you gotta watch out for that as well. Staying on this side gives me the opportunity to spawn more enemies on the right. Oops. Well, I was trying to hit him, but that worked out pretty well actually. So yeah, the pinkies have been quite nice to me actually. Stuck on the wall. Wow, I actually killed one. That doesn't happen very often. So that was like absolute nightmare of what could happen with a pinky. When you get stuck to the wall like that, there's not much you can do. Man, I'm doing bad, bad, bad. And there's Jareth's gem. Other runners, and potential runners, any other questions, any other things I should cover, because this is coming up on the final section. You notice too I have 18 gold now, so that means this is the final level, so we don't have to worry anymore about getting to 20, 13 to the north, which would trigger another time loss asking us if we want to buy time. So once you realize you're on the 13th level, you kind of want to keep track of that. Like if you're towards the end and you only have like 16, okay, that means I can kill 3 enemies without getting... oh, thanks, Skunky. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to do this. But yeah, once you're on the final level, you can kill anything you want. Obviously, sometimes only if it's worth it, but... Alright. I am going to go ahead and use my last book, just so... You know what, let's just use them both. Yeah, screw it. So it starts you off in the same spot. The path deviates here in a moment. Yee, Pinky! So instead of going up there, you go down here. And that's where the split starts for the 2 sections. Appreciate that, Skunky. Yeah, if you're watching this after the fact, I will post all the links that we've discussed in the YouTube description. And the big thing is just make sure you get in that Discord. We'll be happy to answer questions, and you can find all kinds of resources there as well. So there's an example of where you want to do those quick snapback stun shots. Usually they will come chasing after you. You have to press left to get out of that. If there are a bunch of dudes there, don't worry about grabbing that lipstick. I've lost so much time trying to get that before. 1 hour is not going to make or break you 95% of the time. Oh, he's IRG's holding off. So here's one of those false stairs. Can't go down or up that. There was one earlier too, but this is the final level. And you go in here. Time ends once you hit the door and rescue your baby brother Toby. And time. And those are your companions. Like I said, we don't use them in the speedrun. So yeah, that is Labyrinth. Once again, this is the English fan translation. Thanks for the GG, Cole. Baby Toby was saved. Thanks for the GG IRG crit. The companions, I think they help kill enemies. But yeah, you get them by grabbing those hearts. I think you have to give 3 hearts to a companion, and then use a music box to get them to come out. So, and you lose time each time you grab a heart. So I can't see any way how that would, unless there's some kind of manipulation you can do. And then here's Skunky posting the links. Anyways, yeah, so any other questions?